The headaches for the Democrats don't end there. Even members of their own party are admitting they don't understand anything about the southern border crisis. Newly reelected Arizona Democrat Senator Mark Kelly was asked whether his party realizes Americans' frustrations with border security. His response, not even close. President Biden hasn't even visited the border in his first 2 years in office. So are Democrats purposefully avoiding our real-world emergencies? Charlie, Mark Kelly, I don't know if I want to give him credit for this, but at least he's saying that Democrats are clueless.
Yeah, it's funny how once you get past an election and you get reelected for 6 years, then suddenly it's like truth serum. You can say what you have done everything you could to not say for the entire campaign. No, but I don't think Democrats are remotely interested in solving this problem. This is a problem. It's another crisis, kind of like what Spike was just talking about. It's another crisis that they use to their political advantage. And so they have no interest in trying to solve it. And it really is a sad thing that there are all these people that they claim to be representing, and they're not really representing them. They would rather have the issue and exploit it for political purposes than solve the problem.
Spike, are they ever going to tackle this border issue? I mean, we've been talking about it for years. The problem never goes away.
Yeah, not until they start treating the problems and not just the symptoms. I think Senator Kelly was actually oddly spot on with the way he described this. He said Democrat politicians rarely, if ever, want to talk about it. Republican politicians love to talk about it, but they talk about the symptom, which is at the border. That's not what the problem is. This problem is twofold. Number one, the war on drugs has created a multi-trillion-dollar black market for drug cartels to become some of the wealthiest and most powerful people on either of the American continents. They're using that power to cause massive amounts of political violence in their home countries, leading people to flee there and come here to get away from it. That's leading to the border surges. That's the first problem. You can solve that by ending the war on drugs and for our intelligence services to stop giving funding and training to this cartel to fight against the Russian and Chinese sponsored cartels. The second part of the problem is right now it is the hardest it has ever been and harder by the day to come here legally. Getting a work visa, getting a sponsor visa, any other way to be able to come here legally is getting increasingly hard, especially if you are from those countries. So if you make it so that it is untenable and unsurvivable to live in their home countries and making it where it's impossible for them to come legally, there's only one other option left. And until they treat those issues, make it easier to come here legally and stop the reason for these surges to flee the violence in their home countries, this is just going to keep getting worse.
Juan, I agree with Spike. I mean, basically, this is an issue that Republicans or Democrats could campaign on. I think the most right-winger would agree that we can increase legal immigration, but we have to get the border under control. How are we going to do that?
Well, I was going to say I agree with you and Spike because, to me, one, the full quote from Mark Kelly was, Democrats have no idea, but Republicans prefer to have the issue than to solve it. And, that's just the reality. Right now, we've had proposals for immigration reform in this country in 2006 under Bush, in 2013 under Obama, at 17 or 18 under Trump. And every time, what happens? You get a bipartisan group that says, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to fix the asylum rules. We're going to fix what's going on with the Dreamers. We're going to absolutely increase the security, and we can do it. And we're going to start to deal with the fact that it's not just Mexicans coming over the border. We got Venezuelans, Nicaraguans, people fleeing, as Spike said, from problems, legitimate problems in their own country. These are people who normally would deserve asylum. We can deal with this. We'll fix it. But the Congress refuses to act. Talk about political inaction because they prefer to have the issue and wave it around. I say, oh, it's the other guy that's to blame. Okay. That, to me, this is just neglectful. It's criminal.